Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, the place where we make fun of the morons we see out here on the road, a bit like this idiot who Carl spotted who uses his wing mirrors less than a scuba diver uses an ashtray. Or this utter plank who almost took out Maya Slolo and the oncoming Argos fan for no other reason than he likes to drive like a massive Joe Blunt. Or maybe this SpongeBob tribute act who nicked the old school trucker had the great misfortune to share road space with Ford Ranger, more like Full Danger. And what about this confused truck driver who Kevin saw using one of the new HGV overtaking lanes which come in force just today and can only be used by him? This is from Paul's camera on his house. Now as we can see, that hilly road is covered in snow, so you'd really want to creep down there, wouldn't you? Well, that is of course unless your brain works as well as a mobile phone in a lift, in which case you're going to come down there hell for leather and find a novel way to remove snow off the roof of your car. What a backwards dunce. Looking out the back of AP's car, we can see a Golf GTI with non-binary pink headlights. And of course, because he is a GTI, a generally thoughtless idiot, he has to be in front, foot down, IQ to match. And of course, why was the melt in such a massive rush? Well, to get to Lidl's, of course, why else? Here's Tony driving through a village full of idiots. First one cuts across the roundabout there. The mobile highlighter pen, he just pulls straight out in front of him. And this one, who's so stupid he'd managed to get hit by a parked car, does exactly the same. On board with Badco, and unfortunately for him, he's having to share road space today with this Burke in the Merc, who obviously uses his wing mirrors less than a vegan uses a meat thermometer. No mirror, no signal, just a brainless manoeuvre. Just have a look at these conditions and visibility, and look how this crayon eater's driving. Guaranteed that low capacity tool answers nearly every question with a shrug. This from Snip Zimmer. Now some drivers out there display the strategic genius of a squirrel playing chess with a walnut. Take this cretin in lane 2, sees the indicator come on the truck, don't look in his mirrors, don't do nothing, instantly just swerves to the right. Then matey in lane 3 swerves sharply to the right, same time sharply clenching his sphincter muscle. He weren't just touching cloth, the baby's head was showing, trust me. Here's David and he's going to show us an example of how these new type of no entry signs work. Yeah, if you're unable to count when your hands are in your pockets and you can only get as far as C in the alphabet, you're exempt. As we can see, John is just pulling up at these red traffic lights here. And also, as you can see, there's a very dysfunctional truck driver in a very big truck going through a very red light indeed. Now, when it comes to letting people know that you are actually more inbred than Robinson's strawberry jam, nothing can beat the time-honoured method of just ignoring the giveaway lines and pulling straight out in front of another car. And very fitting he had 2 thick planks on the top of that truck. Here's an accident what could have so easily been avoided. If I was driving that car, there's no way I would have been up the side of that truck now. I would have dropped back a little while ago. And look at the truck driver. He only switches his indicator on when he realises he's hit the car. Always let a truck go. You'll never win. Here's Rob and he's behind a knobby, a Nobbo Colosso. He saw cars coming down the road and then he's still gone. And then because he's got nowhere to go, he's got to pull over to the right and go up on the pavement like some fully grown afterbirth with learning difficulties. Midwives used to slap newborn babies to get them breathing. When that helmet popped out, she took one look at it and slapped the father. So here's Colin in his truck, just cruising down the motorway, minding his own business, and there's a BMW driver there using the BMW 3 zeros technique to exit the motorway. 0 intelligence, 0 common sense, and 0 indicator. If intelligence was a sport, he ain't ever getting off the bench. Here's David, and we're about to see one of them new roundabouts. Yeah, you don't give way to the right, you give way to the left to idiots like that in this one. Dave said he knows him, he's a local man, they call him Dog Crap. I said, that's a funny name, why they call him that? He said he's always putting his foot in it. St. Mangy on the motorway, notice everyone's behaving themselves, driving sensible, everyone apart from Captain Clueless in the Golf there, going from lane 1 to lane 3, back to lane 1 again. Dangerous mugs like that have got more dead ends in their thought process than a maze. Now when you're driving on the motorway at night, you really got to keep your wits about you, because you never know when some non-reader who's driving a coach who uses his mirrors less than a goldfish uses socks is going to sideswipe your vehicle for no reason at all. What a plum. So JC's waiting at these temporary traffic lights along with everyone else. Now normally when the light's green you can go, but not today. Oh no, why not? Because this low capacity meatless meatball don't know the difference between red and green. The level of confusion that half-wit must experience on a daily basis is equivalent to what a penguin would experience if you dumped him in the middle of the Sahara Desert for the first time. And here's another one from CJ. Same paint, different brush. Must be terrible suffering from this colour dyslexia. Guys, can I ask you a little favour? If you're enjoying this, do you mind hitting the little like and subscribe button down below, please? Oh, and hit the hype button as well, because that helps me out, and it's all free. Thank you. Here's Pete, just approaching this pedestrian crossing in the zigzag area, so what better place for a bottom feeder to overtake? Yeah, he's another one who's more inbred than cheese and pickle. He's 50% mum and dad, 25% uncle and 25% cousin. Now, driving an HGV is an important, but most times thankless job. And for a lot of these drivers out there that never really made school their priority, driving is an absolutely thoughtless job, a bit like this one here who just cut in front of John. Yeah, don't worry, it's only 44 tonnes. And here's another one with an IQ lower than a slug's belly. Oh, look, there's a truck. I'm just going to squeeze in front of it. Yeah? How did that work out for you, numbnuts? I've got to say, she did display a lot of confidence as she was trying to get in front of that truck there. Yeah, the sort of confidence you'd see from a blind octopus trying to juggle with 8 live chainsaws. Here's Pete, the English trucker who works over in Sweden. And here's another gimp that likes to pull out in front of trucks. But hang on a minute, Pete said he knows him. He's a local man. They call him the Straw. I said, that's a funny name, Pete. Why do they call him that? He says, yeah, because his driving sucks. So as we can see, Michael's just driving past Brent Knowles School here. Now, as we all know, you take it easy around schools. Why? Because you get kids around them. But when you drive an Audi, you've got a single-digit IQ and you believe that reading and writing is just an urban myth. Screw the safety of kids and just get in front. And there's another Audi driver utilising his 4 circles of privilege to circumnavigate that traffic queue there. Here's another one from Nick on a very dark and very wet motorway. And here's a pair of hapless individuals whose brains are obviously working, as well as a couple of rubber tea bags. The first one's the sap in the minibus sitting in the middle lane. The second one's the frustrated truck driver who's sitting up his arse in these wet conditions. It is very frustrating, but it's just not worth it, because whatever happens, it's going to be your fault. And even if you do keep a nice safe distance when you're driving, it's all a waste of time. It's all for nothing if you've got the visual ability of a woolly sock and you don't see the car in front of you stop. What a tool. And look at this vandal who tradie caught scratching the arse out of his bonnet. I bet his bonnet looked more scuffed up than Katie Price's knees. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you this week's Darwin Award nominee. Now you just watch what this backwards wazzock does to avoid paying a £65 fine for being stuck in the yellow box junction. Yeah, he fully mounts the pavement, drives down there at speed and nearly takes out that person on the right there. Unbelievable. So Colin spotted Madam Senseless parking this here and then going in the supermarket. Definitely going to the pharmacy section to get some cream for her hemorrhoids, caused by having her head so far up her own arse. That's Sarah's car on the left there, and when she parked it up, the space on the right was empty. But in the meantime, Captain Oblivious has come there and stuck his Merc about a foot away from her driver's door. And before anyone says, she hasn't got the physical mobility to get from the passenger's side to the driver's seat. So after waiting 20 minutes, car eventually moves, no apology. Now there's no better way to let people know that you're as mentally sharp as a spoon in a sword fight as crossing the road without looking. As the late great Fred Dibner used to say, 1 second lapse of concentration, 1 day in the Undertakers. So here's Ali going through the Limehouse Link Tunnel. Now you've got to watch your speed in here because there's a lot of cameras. But if you drive an Audi, you've got a mental age of 5 and you enjoy binge watching Teletubbies, then speed limits are nothing to you. On board with Bob on his bike, just going round this bend into this one-way road, which means all the cars travel in one direction. Well, everyone apart from Cupcake here coming down the one-way street the wrong way, whose brain obviously functions as well as a cardboard boat propeller. Well, that's it for this one, everybody. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe and hit that hype button. It's all free and it helps me out. Thank you. I'll put a playlist there on the right if you want to watch some more of me videos. Thanks to everyone who sent in clips. Have a fantastic weekend and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.